Hey, I'm Matt with Meat Church. Let's smoke this Wagyu brisket flat. Welcome back to my outdoor kitchen. And real quick, before we get rolling, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I keep giving reminders to people to turn on your notifications so you're reminded every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central when we drop these how-to cooking videos. Well, brisket flat. This is kind of by popular customer demand. It's no secret that I prefer to cook a brisket whole, the two muscles, the flat and the point. Like Aaron Franklin said years ago, they just cook a little bit different when they're together, so that's my preference. I almost never cook a brisket flat by itself. With that said, we always listen to our customers, and there's a ton of you, they're like, hey, it's just me or me and my wife. I don't want to cook a whole packer. I still think you should cook a whole packer and just cut off what you need, vacuum seal the rest. But hey, you guys do what you want, and I've got something beautiful here today. This is a treat. This is a brisket flat, and it's not any ordinary brisket flat. This was a gift to me from my buddy Kevin down in Pensacola. He owns the butcher shop. We'll put his information down at the bottom of the screen. A lot of people know Kevin. He's got a beautiful butcher shop. He sells Meat Church and a bunch of other seasonings there, but you can reach out to Kevin and he will ship you like any cut you want. So I'm known to reach out to him when I need something special. There's no doubt he's got it. If I want like Denver steaks, a flat iron, if I need like the most beautiful Wagyu brisket, Kevin's gonna have it and he'll ship it to you. So he gifted this to me and it is crazy marbled. So we thought, somebody's gonna gift us this. We need to do him a solid and put it in a video. So thanks Kevin for sending me this. Hey, for 48 bucks, I'm buying this all day long. Little backstory. If you've known Meat Church from the beginning, I was on Barbecue Pit Masters back in 2014. And I always get asked, how did you do? Well, I got third place. My mom was super proud of that. I don't always mention that there were only 3 teams in the competition. We were still on the podium, but brisket flat is what knocked us out. I like to say that I think that piece of meat that we had on that show wasn't great because I cooked it to way beyond what you would think a meat should be, internal temperature, like north of 210 degrees, and it never got tender. I ran out of time and I turned in something that wasn't tender enough. I knew I wasn't gonna win, but that's how the chips fell. I think I've done all right since then. So I need to take this out of the package, rinse it off, pat it dry, so I'll be right back. Got the brisket flat out of the package, rinse it off, pat it dry, and depending what your flat looks like, you know, you need to trim off any excess fat. I don't want to do a whole lot to it because it's expensive, but as I look at this, it's super thin over here. I'm just gonna use my chef knife here and just make a little, I'll clean up the edge here, just a hair. With fat over here. It's my Montana knife, chef knife, link down in the description as well as the recipe as usual. Well, something this nice, I don't want to do a whole lot to. I really want the meat to speak for itself. So I'm gonna hit it with our Holy Cow. This is one of the most popular beef rubs in the country. Use what you want. This is an SPG, it's salt, pepper, garlic. It just has paprika oil for color so that it's not boring black and white. So I'm gonna season, like I always say, about 18 inches high, be nice and even. And you know me, I like to cook fat side up. There's not a ton of fat on this one, so checked it out. I'm not gonna have to do a whole lot to it. Flip it over. And this fat here, not too much to it. So nice coating. Pepper catches smoke, so I would tell you that a mistake I think a lot of people make on briskets, whether it's flat or the entire thing, is they don't put enough seasoning. So we're getting all sides here, and then we're gonna use the board to kind of get some of the excess. I think I need a little bit more. One more nice little coating. So I recommend you do your prep when you cook any kind of big meat the day before your cook. I'd love to put this in the fridge and let it sit overnight and then smoke it. But since we're doing video, I'm just gonna let it sit for about 15 minutes. I'm gonna make sure my Traeger is up to temp and then we'll be back to cook this. The seasoning's adhered, so let's talk about cooking this. When you're just cooking a brisket flat, there's a lot less fat. You don't have the fat that runs in between the flat and the point to help give you that buffer when you're cooking it. Now, yes, I know this one is Wagyu and there's a lot more intermuscular fat, but we're not gonna focus on that today. When cooking a flat, I'm going to deviate from my very traditional Texas barbecue method, which would be smoke the brisket, fat side up until it's in the 170s, wrap it in butcher paper. In this case, I'm going to put it in the smoker, 250 degrees, fat side up, but I'm gonna cook it until the bark looks really nice and where I want it, because I'm gonna wrap this one in a foil pan or aluminum foil. I often even advise putting a little bit of butter in the bottom of the pan, a little bit of broth, some sort of fat or liquid that can give you that added moisture, because it is very easy to dry out a brisket flat normally. So we've got a Traeger Woodridge setup running Meat Church pellets. That's oak and hickory mix. Great blend for big meats. Other things you could use, mesquite, hickory, oak, all great choices, but you want a heavy meat when it comes to beef. So in the smoker we go, and we'll kind of check it out along the way and see how we're doing. The flat's been cooking for about 4 hours, so let's temp it right in the middle. And so you can see we are at 170 degrees. So the 4-hour part is not the important part. The temperature being 170, which I like to wrap in the 170s for bark formation. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this. And again, like I said, the reason I'm wrapping is on a brisket flat. You could have a tendency to dry it out. So here, you wanna put either a little broth, you can do butter, some sort of fat, you could do tallow. We're just gonna do a little bit of beef broth. I'm not doing a ton. I'm not trying to submerge this. I'm just trying to give it a nice little liquid so that it can braise. I'm gonna cover it with foil. Gonna increase the temperature to 275 degrees, and then I'm gonna cook it until it's probe tender. It's been a couple more hours. The brisket should be tender. Let's check it out. So obviously when you use aluminum foil to wrap in instead of butcher paper, you're gonna steam like that, and your bark that you created is gonna soften up. We'll talk about that in a second. So let's fill it here. And I always say, like, I don't want to look at the number, I want to feel. That feels like butter like that. That's what I want right there. That's kind of on the edges. So in the middle, still feels like butter. And what temperature are we at? So Wagyu, usually a little higher internal temperature, 206. I can tell you around 200, 203. It was not loose, but it feels really loose right there. It feels, you know, always check your brisket in a lot of different places. In the thin part, obviously, it's going to be tender. So cook to tender. What you're looking for. But I want to get some of this bark back, so I'm going to lift this up, let that come off of there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide this back in the Traeger for 10-15 minutes so that all this moisture on top, we can kind of firm it back up just a little bit. Optional step, but something that I like to do, and then we're going to go into the rest. It's been about 15 minutes back in the Traeger, so let's grab the brisket flat. All right, so after 15 minutes, you can see that it's pretty well dried up. So kind of got the bark back there to a degree. So now it's time to rest it. So we're gonna go with a shorter rest here, which is I'm just gonna rest it as long as we need to get it down into the 140s, maybe 150 or so to slice it. I'm not gonna do my extended rest that I do with a traditional Texas brisket that is like all night and, you know, half the day. So I'm going to move this aside, get some butcher paper. So if you ever wrap a brisket in foil, whether it be flat like this, a whole brisket, you know, I talk about how you can do that in aluminum foil, you can do it in a pan. I would always do this method to get the bark back, but then I would rest it in butcher paper. So I'm gonna get a piece of our butcher paper here and I'm gonna spritz it. I just keep cider vinegar in this so that you can wrap easier. Now, it would be okay to also use all the drippings that came out of this pan, particularly because it came from a Wagyu brisket, but I'm actually gonna put this in my warmer and hold it, reserve it for later. Always a good tool, but you could put it right here. You could also put tallow here. And I definitely have too long of a piece of paper. This is optional, but this way, when you wrap in butcher paper, everything is, you know, it's permeable. So that bark that you built, you can maintain it. You won't steam it away like you did in the cook process. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes. When brisket comes out of the smoker, I wanna stop that cook process. I don't want it to continue to cook. I don't want the internal temperature rising anymore. So I'm gonna let it sit here for 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna put it in a cooler and I'm gonna rest it. Now, while that's happening, we wanna talk about how could you rest something for a really long time. Well, anytime you put something in a cooler, whether it's hot or cold, you want the cooler to be full to maximize its holding potential. In fact, I recently just saw a guy with an Igloo cooler and a Yeti cooler, and he was trying to diss on Yeti, saying you shouldn't pay an expensive price tag for them because let me show you what I can do with my $20 Igloo. But his sample was flawed because he had a small Igloo that was completely full, and he had a Yeti that had a bunch of airspace in it. So, you know, for this case, since I'm trying to rest it down 140, 150 as quick as possible, I don't need to do all that. But if you were trying to hold this to say, put it in a cooler and take it on a road trip and go to your in-laws or go to a football game, and you need to safely hold it as long as possible, then you would want to fill that cooler with blankets or something like that to really fill it up and hold it longer. So we're gonna let this rest, and after it's at the right temperature, we'll be back to slice it and see how it tastes. All right, brisket's rested. Let's get it out of the cooler. This is easily the smallest Yeti and smallest brisket combination I've ever been a part of. All right, open her up. And I mentioned we would use the reserve liquid. Anytime you go to a barbecue joint and you see the block all wet, that's definitely tallow. So we did not separate this. This is not exactly tallow. I mean, this is everything. It's, I don't know, it's just everything that's rendered out of the brisket. But being a Wagyu brisket, you know this can't be bad. So I'm just gonna wet it down here. Yeah, and you know, pulling the curtain back, I didn't do this in advance, but anytime somebody unwraps a brisket in front of you and it's sopping wet, that is also tallow. That's okay. I mean, it's definitely, you know, I would say necessary on a block when serving. It looks better too, right? Like, obviously you can see if you're putting this on the gram, it's gonna look better like this. There we go. Okay, towel here, we're gonna cut it open and see how we did. Well, the grain was running this direction, so we're just gonna slice exactly against the grain. I can't believe how small this is now, but should be good. I'm just gonna make a couple slices. So this is obviously the flat, so thinner slices on a flat, thicker slices on a point helps keep it together. Obviously that does not apply here. All right, well, let's just pick one up. A few slices in, got a good bend, got good smoke on it. We're gonna do all the tests here. Just barely pull it, comes right apart. So I really like how this one was cooked. Easy, just barely pull it, comes right apart. Here we go. Oh my God. That is not your father's brisket right there. A9. I'm gonna hold that back up and show you. So smoke all through here. That wasn't in the smoke very long at all. Remember, this was between 6 and 7 hours total cook time, and the rest time was, I don't know, maybe an hour to get it down to, you know, we got it into the 140s before we cut it. You can see it's not steaming out here. I like cooking briskets in the 140s, but look at that. Inside of that thing, man, that is just velvety. I gotta say, Kevin at the butcher shop, thank you for this. You sent me this summer when I was in Florida, and I held on to it. It looked so pretty when it came. I think it was UPS. I thought, I'm taking this back to Texas and putting it in a video to thank you. But I told you in the beginning of the video, Kevin has all kinds of cuts. He can definitely hook you up. This wasn't intended to necessarily be a commercial, but all kinds of guys in barbecue know and preach about Kevin. My buddies Heath Riles, Malcolm Reed, they both use him. They both have their seasonings sold in there as well. So the guy has a reputation for sure. This for under 50 bucks, this is a win. So if you're into doing brisket flat, this method definitely works. Kevin, thanks again. You guys be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next week. There's gonna be no leftovers this week, sorry y'all.